I am very terrified of falling. I've gotten to where I use an office chair in the house in order to be able to maneuver where I need to go, and that's how I do it. I'm very slow.
I think we have a very good relationship. Most cases, I really do feel like I'm her caretaker, not her husband, but.
Man said I feel like I'm her caretaker, not really her husband. No, you are her enabler. Don't get me wrong, he hasn't been there her whole life that she's being obese, but he's definitely been there for a certain portion of it because they've been married for about 5 years. They've been together, I believe, maybe about 6-7 years. And in that timeline, of course, he's continued, feeding her the way she already was before that. So really and truly, like, if you're going to go into a relationship with somebody that is obese or someone that is just generally overweight and they have no intentions of actually losing that weight, and you see that they still love to just eat food like there's no tomorrow, well, at some point, expect yourself to be a caretaker. It's just that simple. Expect yourself to be a carer that does it for free. Let's just remember that. But at the same time, though, because obviously you're not doing anything to help that person, that's where you become an enabler. Now, here's the thing, though. Can you walk into someone's life and then help them or try and support them or try and give them advice? No, you cannot. Because at the end of the day, that person has to be in a position where they ask you, hey, I want to do better. I need your help. If they're not asking you that, then, the only thing you can pretty much do is enable them by default. You see what I'm saying? Because they're not going to listen to it. So I say that because at the end of the day, if you are going to get yourself into a relationship with somebody that is overweight, okay, and you see that they have no intention of losing that weight, expect a certain part of your life where you may have to actually end up looking after them more than you can look after your freaking self. And also how that's going to impact you in terms of your own health, physically and mentally. But hey, before we continue, please do hit the subscribe button, but also like the video. Now, there is a certain point in this video where the video does play itself back about 3 times, okay? I do apologize in advance. Obviously, when I was compiling the video together based on all the scenes that I saw in this episode, there was some part here that I made a little error here and there, okay, guys? So I do apologize in advance. But either way, though, let's get into it.
Getting under the fold of skin. I have fold of skin everywhere, places that you wouldn't even think you're supposed to have fold of skin. And sometimes the folds are so swollen together that you can't even get your hand in between them. So that I can get it between the folds of my skin. So I do try to get it clean.
It was very crucial for me to show you this because at the end of the day, if people don't see this, then therefore you are going to be blind to what you may be walking into in your life, if you don't look after yourself. Now, arguably, most of the time, say the first time, I'll say the first area that can become folded of skin is usually the gut area. You know what I mean? When you gain so much weight and then obviously your stomach gets big enough and therefore you can't even get underneath that crease, that is pretty much the first sign. After that, literally, it could easily end up being the way she is. But remember, everybody's body's different. Some people do get more folds than others, regardless of how much they weigh, whether they weigh 500 pounds, 600 pounds, 700 pounds, you know what I mean? But the fact is, though, do you ever want to be in a position where you spend most of your time cleaning your folded areas that could be growing anything? You know what I mean? Or do you want to just be able to go into a shower, onto a bath, in and out within 10 minutes? You see what I'm saying? But either way, though, let's continue.
Bacon with sausages, biscuits, and a cup of coffee. It's not the most healthy, but it's also not the worst because it's not a piece of chocolate cake.
I find this hilarious that she thinks that what she just had there was okay, just because it wasn't as bad as a piece of cake.
And when I finished high school, I was in roughly 18 size clothes. But then, when I was 20, I got pregnant. But ended up being abusive, so I told him to hit the road. Our child, she ended up being a full-term stillborn. So it was one of the hardest moments in my entire life.
Sadly, being pregnant and then giving birth to a child that was not alive is definitely something that can definitely make an impact on any one of us. You know what I mean? So I do feel sorry for her that the first child that she did have didn't survive. The birth. But because of that, food was always there for her, which obviously didn't help her. But that's just child number 1.
A gentleman who didn't think that my weight was an issue, and I ended up getting pregnant, married, and I had a perfectly healthy baby boy. He decided that he wanted a divorce and that he was going to take our son. Attorney, and I lost custody of my son, Lee. It devastated me, which caused the divorce was final. I got remarried and had my daughter, Savannah. And everything was perfect until he became abusive. I said, I don't play that. I'm not a victim. I'm a survivor. I was single, living by myself with my daughter. She lived with me until she was about 12 years old. And then we had an argument and she stormed off to live with my brother.
It's crazy though, right? 3 kids. Well, sadly, the first one passed away. Second one, the husband said, no, I'm out. Took the son with him. Savage, you know. And then obviously now the third one is that the child decided to, you know, pretty much go live with her brother after being with for 12 years. Now the daughter does go on to explain that the reason being is because, you know, she just felt like her mother would only be a mother only when it was convenient for her. A mother wouldn't always be a mother 24/7 the way a mother is supposed to be a mother, as well as her father would be. So that's why she ended up going to live with her uncle instead. But the daughter does come in shortly for this video, and she does explain another side of things as well, of why she had to also move away from her mother, and why, you know, being around her mother just wasn't healthy for her. But we'll get to that when we get there, okay? But again, all of these things I can understand doesn't really help her case in the situation of where all of these things made her then want to turn to food.
I didn't care about her being overweight. I loved her face and I loved her personality. Oh, I can't do anything about the ground.
Oh, just hold me. You parked far away.
Do what?
You parked far away.
The fact that the car wasn't even that far and she said that you parked far away, that blew my mind. But I get it, because when you're this age here, when you're at this stage in your life of being at this weight, you know, and you can barely move because your body's filled with more fat than it is with muscle. Boy, I can imagine how hard it is, and, you know, also needing to walk with a walking stick, or let alone a wheelchair. But let's continue.
If I were to fall at my weight and break a bone, I'd be done. What's gonna happen?
And don't be sorry. It's time to get help.
Hold her foot so it'll help her stand up.
You hang on to her, ready? 1, 2, 3.
I'm on somebody's foot.
So obviously, as you saw, she fell over. Ambulance had to be called. Several men had to pick her up. And then also on top of that, just to get her back in the house, they had to literally remove her own fence and then be able to wheelchair her back into the home as well. That is just not a scenario that anybody should want to ever be in. You know what I mean? Now, let me not use the word should. That's not a scenario that, you know, anyone would want to be in. You know, and it's so sad because there are certain people in this world that, you know, who are born in a wheelchair, not literally born like, you know what I mean, but obviously can't walk or have something, or some people lose a leg or something like later on in life, whether that's due to a work accident or going to the army or whatnot. And it's so sad because obviously there are certain people who do end up in that position. But it is, and listen, I said last week's episode that at the end of the day, it frustrates me personally when people get overweight and then claim disability. Now, I'm not saying that once you get to a certain stage in your life that you are not disabled, you know, that when you do become obese and you are unable to walk, I'm not saying that you are then not disabled. You obviously are, but it's just frustrating because it's annoying because there are so many people in this world who are born, you know, with a disability, right? And let's just talk about it based on wheelchair purposes, right? There's so many people in this world who are born, you know, and they have to be in the wheelchair their whole life. And then there's some people that they may have an accident at work, you know, where they may lose a leg or lose a leg or something like that, right? And therefore they end up becoming wheelchair bound. But the thing is, though, you see these people, right? There's many of these people who are not overweight. There's many of them who are still in good shape. Okay, some of them even go off and do the Paralympics. You know what I mean? You know, some of them even go off and do certain things that some of them you even see them in the gym. Do you see what I'm saying? Okay, I mean, sometimes on Instagram you see reels of people with no legs, but they're in the gym doing some madness. You know what I mean? Doing things I'm thinking, damn, like you make it look easier than when I do it. Like, what's going on? You know what I mean? So the fact is, though, it's just annoying because there are people who can stay fit, stay in a reasonable weight, and regardless of the fact that they may have a leg missing or something like that. So it just frustrates me when you get people who were born, legs intact, arms intact, everything's good, and then boom, trauma happens, and then they end up putting themselves in a position where they end up having to do a wheelchair, and then they claim disability. Now again, of course, we're at that stage you are, but it's just frustrating because, in my opinion, I just feel like it's a disrespect to the people who are put in a situation where they have disabilities, you know, and it's not really optional, right? But they won't let the disability bring them down. Just sometimes they won't let that disability be the reason why they become obese or whatever, right? They'll be like, you know what, F it. This is my life. This is what it is. But it doesn't mean I've got allowed to define me. So let me go out there and just do things that everyone else would do. Do you see what I'm saying? So that's why it frustrates me in these situations, to be honest, for the most part, when people just self-inflict, basically. I'm not saying I don't understand. I do understand clearly because that's why I watch the show. But it doesn't mean that I have to be okay with it, you know? But anyway, let's get into how much she actually weighs. Sorry, this is the scene that repeats itself about 3 times. I do apologize. So the reason why she's got this reaction in her face is because, and so does her partner, is because, you see, she thought that she was in the 500s. I don't know why she thought she was in the 500s. That was never going to happen, you know, and that's why her face is like this. She's like, oh, it's worse than I thought. And also on top of that, she had claimed that she had already started a weight loss journey before even reaching Dr. Now. So therefore, because she had already started one, she thought that because of that, surely she must be in the 500s. But yeah. Let's listen to what Dr. Now had to say, because she didn't start anything. She's just one of those people who says, oh, I'm just trying to have a head start before I see him. But really, you're not.
Eat all day then?
I prefer yogurt. The Greek yogurt, I love it.
1 yogurt cup?
Yes.
That's all?
For breakfast.
So that is your breakfast. Then after that, what do you eat?
For lunch here lately, a salad. You can ask him. We cleaned out our pantry and gave it to the kids next door.
Okay, so that is salad and yogurt, and what you drink for lunch?
I like to go with water. Sometimes I'll have like tea, but it's the unsweet tea, or pork, just a white meat.
Okay, any snack in between?
No.
That almost sounds too good to be true. So if that is the math together today, your BMI is 111. And this is very dangerous BMI to be at. And 111 is one of the highest BMI we've seen. So your situation needs to change now. And
Needs to change your whole freaking lot.
do that is you eat less.
Correct.
So I'm going to give you a 1,200 calorie, low carb, high protein diet that will help you do that. If you 50, 60 pounds in 1 month. But the goal I'm going to give you is to just lose 50 pounds in 2 months. So your appointment at the local clinic a month ago, and I haven't heard from you. This is
Doing it virtually because my van is still in the shop.
so that.
We got 600.
She's meant to lose. She was meant to lose 50, right? In 2 months. Instead of losing 50 in 2 months, what happens? She misses the first appointment because the car was still broken down. So therefore, she actually didn't even see him until, I believe, about 3 weeks later. And as you can see, she's gained 5 pounds in that time. For me personally, as I was reviewing this, when I was making the video for Patreon, I wasn't surprised. Because the attitude told me that this woman isn't going to lose the weight. But regarding Patreon, in case you don't know, I do have a Patreon account. Link is down below in the description, where I watch the whole episode. And then upload it, because on there I don't have to worry about copyright. So you actually experience me giving you a reaction to the full episode. So you actually get to watch the full episodes. It's not cut up into little bits like it is here on YouTube. On YouTube, of course, I have to do it because of copyright. But on Patreon, I ain't got that issue. So if you want to get the full reaction to the full thing and see the full story, as I'm obviously watching and talking about it, head over to Patreon, link down below, and yeah, you can definitely become a member there. But nonetheless, though, let's continue.
51 pounds.
Okay. 651.
You gained 5 pounds. So you want to tell me why do you think that is?
I know what the scale says. I do understand that, but I don't understand how. I don't understand how it's continuing to go up whenever I'm not consuming.
That's not the reality, okay? There is no way you're going to gain weight if you are eating 1,200 calories a day. That is not humanly possible. That happened. You eat it.
I have been trying to change my eating habits.
This is just argue with the scale.
I'm not trying to make excuses because I know I messed up and I'm just trying to fix that.
I mean, it's so frustrating when people sit there and say that, oh, the scales did this, da-da-da-da-da. Just be truthful, you know? And when I say be truthful, I'm not trying to be truthful to Dr. Now. Be truthful to yourself. Tell the truth. I feel like sometimes people think that when they tell... this is something that people have to understand. If I tell a lie today, I'm not only lying to the person I'm lying to, I'm also lying to myself. If I tell the truth today, I'm not only telling the truth to that person, I'm also telling the truth to myself. So the question is, do I want to walk away knowing that I've told a lie to myself and to someone else? Or knowing that I tell the truth to myself as well as somebody else? You see what I'm saying? Because one of the worst things that we can do in life is to lie to ourselves and not be truthful with ourselves. Because when we are not truthful with ourselves, we stop ourselves from going to whatever level that we need to go to, or with the next stage or whatever it is. You see what I'm saying? So let's just bear that in mind.
I don't understand how I'm gaining weight. I do understand that it's my fault. I know that it's something that I'm doing.
Weight has always had like a issue in our relationship because she would project her weight insecurities onto me, say, oh, don't do this, da-da-da-da. You'll give me body dysmorphia, and I've struggled with eating disorders my whole life because of it.
And this is the part where the daughter comes in and says, obviously, you know, being around her mum was hard. And of course, the mum obviously tried to, you know, manage her daughter's weight by saying, hey, if you eat this, then you can end up like me. And as you can see, it caused body dysmorphia. And to be honest with you, in my opinion, this is a conversation that isn't had enough. I feel like, there needs to be a conversation about body dysmorphia in terms of where does it stem from. Everybody's going to be different. Some people, it comes from how they were brought up. For her, of course, is how her mum obviously tried to do X, Y, Z, and obviously it backfired. Some people, it's from a different perspective, you know what I mean? But I feel like there should be like a series made, on different types of forms of, on different types of reasons of why people end up with body dysmorphia. You know what I mean? Maybe that should be me to make that series, that video, but I'd prefer to watch it than make it myself. But maybe I will one day, who knows? But let's continue.
Holy.
So at this point here, she actually went off and done it. She went and lost more than 50. The doctor gave her a second chance to go off and lose weight again. This time she went and lost pretty much 23 pounds more, which is fantastic. And of course, she was surprised, and so was he surprised. I don't know why you two were so surprised for, but I don't think it was that. I think it's just a matter of they didn't expect her to lose as much as she did. So to be honest with you, it's fantastic that she was able to actually lose weight, in the end. But the question is though,
Crap.
Thank you.
And if you keep this up and lose another 40 pounds next month, you'll be ready for surgery.
Okay.
So I'm going to approve you for surgery, providing if you lose another 40 pounds.
24 pounds last month, which is pretty much right on track. Thank you. Part of this change for me is changing into a better person. And
so boom, bam, she did end up losing the extra 40 pounds, you know what I mean? And now she's lost weight. She's also continuously losing more weight as well. Now, Dr. Now did say that obviously once she loses weight, she should be able to lose 20 pounds per month moving forward. But he did say that if her body does get to a point where it doesn't lose any weight and she becomes stagnant, then it would then have to refer for therapy. So I don't know, obviously that's going to be a thing. Maybe we'll find that out on 600 Pound Life. Where are they now? But for some reason, 600 Pound wherever they're now, it never appears on Discovery Plus when it's airing on TV. It's so weird. I don't know why they do that. Like, Discovery Plus is just a waste of money. Anyway, the matter of the fact is though, she was able to finally get there, which is fantastic. Because for me personally, she proved me wrong. Throughout the whole episode, I was like, you know what? She's not doing this. Literally, because she gave me no, there was nothing that told me that she was going to make it happen. So to be fair, when they were surprised that she lost the weight, I was mind blown. I was blown away. But I'm happy for her. Hopefully that this journey has continued for her. And hopefully right now she's actually at a weight that she needs to be at, you see what I'm saying? And hopefully right now she's got a better relationship with her daughter. And also on top of that, her daughter has got a child, so which is also her grandchild. So hopefully she's got that relationship as well, you see what I'm saying? Because it's sad that she lost her first child. It's sad that the second husband decided to run away with the other child, you know what I mean, with the son. So the fact that she still has a child in her life, it'd be nice to see if they were able to reconcile a relationship now, do you know what I mean? And hopefully she's now a better person as well. And usually sometimes when people lose weight, sometimes their mentality changes too and they can become a better person, do you see what I'm saying? Give or take. It really depends on the person, do you know what I mean? But nonetheless though, let me know your thoughts and your opinions down below in the comment section. We'll talk about it. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and of course, peace.